What is going on YouTube? Nexus TV back here in another video today. This is another Lance episode pretty much, and this is gonna begin where the last episode left off. So be sure to stick around to the end, of course, so you can pretty much watch the video, and we're gonna get into it. So let's go. Friend or foe? Darklight? Seriously? Annika says in an unimpressed tone. You know, you should watch how you talk to the person who's trying to help you, Dante says smugly. Lance looks at Dante annoyedly. Explain yourself, Lerone, he says sternly. Look, I've been tracking these guys since 2021. I can help you with strength, Dante says, obeying Lance's request of explaining himself. Read the room. Any more strength would be overkill, Hiro says while walking past Dante and out of the church, followed by Lance and Annika. You know, you're right, but you never know. Besides, let's say for instance, who could help you other than me? Not Peter Parker. Not Tony Stark. No, he's dead, Dante says while slowly walking closer to Lance. By then the trio stopped walking and turned around, watching him come closer and closer to Lance. Lance has stopped walking and stood still as if frozen. Dante continues to speak, and especially not Natasha Romanoff. She can't help you, can she? Dante says smugly. Lance summons his helmet back over his head and in a quick motion grabs Dante's raised hands, kicks his shin, and then rapidly grabs his neck, pressing his armored index finger into Dante's jugular notch. Dante begins to slowly drop to the ground while the air intensifies and Lance looks through the eyes of the suit's helmet at Dante's face. He looks agonized but somehow still has a semblance of a smile on his face. Dante fully falls onto the ground and Lance pulls his finger away, quickly grabbing his stun gun and applying his index finger onto the trigger. Hiro suddenly walks up to Lance's right side and quickly grabs Lance's wrist, which is to stop him from shooting him. Lance, no, he says calmly. Annika walks over to Lance's left and grabs his shoulder, which signals Lance not to shoot. Lance looks at his left and right and then stares at Dante. He retracts his helmet and pulls the hood of the scarf off his head. He puts his gun away and extends his hand out to pull Dante off the ground. I'm sorry, Lance says remorsefully after pulling Dante to his feet. All good, Dante says while nodding. You say you can help us with taking down Powder Drum, Annika asks him presumptuously. Yeah, I've been tracking Powder Drum for 3 years. I know every nook and cranny of how they operate. What they do is have little outpost places that look like this in case of the main base being attacked, so they have another place to fall back to and supplies to fall back on. Dante says, wait, supplies? The only thing here is cocaine, Lance says with a confused tone. This stuff, it isn't normal, Dante says to the trio. Before the trio can ask any more questions, Dante decides to call the police and have the drugs moved away. He tells Lance and the other two that they should leave before the cops come, mentioning that seeing the metal spider might arouse suspicion. Lance, Hiro, and Annika begin to leave, but not before Lance turns around and asks him what he will do. I'll catch up to you, Dante says. The trio now walk out the doorway of the church. Dante watches them walk away and looks back at the knocked out bounty hunters and piles of cocaine in front of him. He lets out an annoyed sigh and walks further into the church while dialing a number on his phone. The lead. Do you guys know how big this lead is? Lance says while opening the driver's side door and getting in his car. Annika and Hiro get in with him and they begin to drive off. You said it, Lance. We found our lead today, Annika says while smiling at him. I don't know. The guy seems shifty to me. Now I'm always up for a fight, but we should probably stay cautious. Lance nods and furrows his eyebrow. He's lucky that you two stepped in. He went too far bringing Natasha into it. You're lucky too, Lance. Why did I spell "you're" like that? Whatever. You're lucky too, Lance. If Hiro and I hadn't stepped in and you killed him, the cops would have found him eventually, and because of that one powder drum that's still hanging from his back from the ceiling, they'd know you had something to do with it. Annika's right, and Lance knows it. How about we grab some lunch? It's 12:30, Hiro says while glancing at his phone. Lance and Annika agree, and they decide to head to a burger place, and they drive past their hotel. Suddenly, a black powder drum Camaro shows up in the rearview mirror. Lance, I think we got powder drum after us, Annika says shakily. Lance acknowledges Annika's words and drives faster, increasing his car speed to 50, causing looks from the pedestrians and other drivers on the road. How do they know who we are? Were we followed? Hiro says while sticking his head out of the window and looking back at the Camaro. Lance suddenly drifts around a corner, narrowly missing a pedestrian walking across the street. The Camaro attempts to make the turn, but can't make it quick enough and smashes into the wall of the building. We lost him, Lance, Annika says, turning her head to him. Lance sighs in relief. Those guys cannot drive at all, Lance says to himself. The three of them pull up to their restaurant, and the three of them change out of their hero suits and head inside the restaurant. What can I get for you three? The waiter asks the trio. They order their food, and the waiter takes the order, walking away. Tony Stark used to love cheeseburgers, Lance says to no one in particular. That guy, yeah, the guy that gave us the lead also gave us this map, remember? Hero says, showing Lance the screenshot on his phone. Yeah, something tells me that what we just did is the easiest one. Lance says in a low tone. The Darklight guy, what do you guys think about him? Friend or foe? Annika asks him. He brought Nat into it, but he let us go. He could be Powder Drum, though. Hero says to Lance and Annika. If he let us go, why would he be Powder Drum? You know they have a $50,000 bounty on me. Well, because of the damage we made so far, it's probably $65,000 now, Lance says with a short laugh. The waiter brings the trio their food and they start eating, finishing up a few minutes later. The three get up and pay for their food, walking out the restaurant. They go out the door and walk toward Lance's car, when suddenly, two police cruisers drive into the parking lot and screech to a halt. Two cops jump out of both cars and aim their guns at Lance, Hero, and Annika. Lance Davidson, there's a warrant out for your arrest, with the reason being the murder of Quentin Beck, also known as the Hero Mysterio. Come slowly and peacefully with your hands up. We will find Peter Parker and the two of you will go in front of a judge, one of the cops says through a megaphone. The commotion causes looks from the hundreds of pedestrians walking around on the sidewalks and the others walking to their vehicles. Half of the stares at the officers and others at the trio. The world felt like it stopped. Who called the police? Annika says with her hands raised. How would I know? How should I know? Lance asks with his hands also raised. What are we gonna do? Hero asks. Suddenly, a black Ford F-150 drives around the corner and bashes into one of the patrol cars, knocking it into the other, sending them both over each other. Lance, run! Dante says while getting out of the truck. Dante grabs the staff from the sheath on his back and engages in combat between the cops. Lance hands Hero the keys before running to the right and into an alleyway. Lance shoots a web at a building across the street, swings up to the roof. He runs across the roof, jumping over pipes and AC vents. Suddenly, Lance runs out of the roof and stops. He looks around, trying to find a way out. This is the end of the line, Davidson, a cop says while aiming his gun at Lance. So I guess you slipped past the guy with the big metal staff, Lance says sarcastically while turning around with his hands up. Very funny. You know, I wonder if your friend is like this, the cop says in an annoyed tone while inching closer to Lance. Peter? Believe me, if I can annoy you, he can anger you intensely. One time, him and I were fighting an ugly grape with a face from space, and he still managed to crack a few jokes here and there. You know, Iron Man and Doctor Strange were with us, too. Well, actually, we were with them. We kind of tagged along, you know. Lance is cut off by the back of his foot hitting the roof's edge. You either fall and you die or you surrender. Either way, you die. But in second instance, you die slower, possibly due to old age, the cop says with a grin creeping onto his face. You know, it's been fun talking to you, but all good things must come to an end, right? Lance says. Suddenly, Lance quickly grabs the barrel of the officer's pistol, pushing it away from his face and wrapping his legs around the cop's neck. He shoots a web from the right hand's web shooter and grabs the end of the web with his left hand, also wrapping it around the officer's neck. Get off me, let me go, the cop says with a strained voice. Let you go? I don't know. If you let me go, I'll let you go. Lance says, alright. Lance says, alright, okay, the cop says while trying to get Lance's legs off of him. Okay, what? Lance says. You're free to go, the cop says. Lance jumps off the guy's shoulders and breaks the web. The cop sits on the ground and the two look at each other. We should probably get out of here before the other cops come, the officer says. Lance nods and runs to the edge of the roof. He shoots a web to a building across the street and swings away. No wonder Peter always cracks jokes while fighting. That was kind of fun, Lance says while swinging away. So, I guess we know what Lance's trigger word is now because Dante mentioned Natasha and then Lance nearly killed him. So, but anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video, and be sure to like, subscribe, and of course share. And next to see you out. Have a good day or night wherever you are.